woman looks at you with tears in her eyes and says, "You just don't get me." What's truly unfolding? You're not just facing an emotional moment, you're encountering a sophisticated psychological script. Today, I'll decode the 5 essential patterns that form what I call the emotional manipulation matrix. These are the invisible codes governing many modern dynamics, and understanding them is your first step toward reclaiming your mental sovereignty. Let's start with the first code, the weakness illusion. In dark psychology, perceived weakness is often strategic strength. When she calls you emotionally closed off or not man enough, she's performing a clever inversion. Your greatest strengths, your restraint, your rationality, your refusal to engage in drama, are being framed as deficiencies. Suddenly, your calm demeanor becomes passivity, your thoughtful pause becomes indecision, your boundary becomes coldness. This reframing forces you onto the defensive. Now you're not discussing her behavior, you're desperately trying to prove you're not inadequate. The power has completely shifted. She holds the moral high ground as the hurt party, while you're left explaining why you're not the flawed person she's describing. This is the foundation. Your strength gets rebranded as your weakness. This seamlessly leads to the second code, the barter system of love. Healthy love is unconditional. Manipulated love is transactional. Listen for phrases like, "If you really loved me, you would," or "A good boyfriend would never." These statements transform affection into a currency. Every act of love becomes a withdrawal from your account, and every perceived slight becomes a debt you owe. You're no longer in a relationship. You're in constant negotiation. Your time, your attention, your compromises, they're all commodities in this emotional marketplace. And here's the cruel twist. The exchange rate always changes in her favor. What satisfied her yesterday isn't enough today. You find yourself running faster and faster on a treadmill, trying to pay off a debt that magically keeps growing. This system ensures you're always in deficit, always trying to prove your love through actions while hers is conditional upon your performance. The modern arena for this manipulation is our third code, social reality manufacturing. Before social media, disputes were private. Now, they can be tried in the court of public opinion with a single post. This code involves crafting a narrative where she's the protagonist and you're the obstacle. It might be a vague post about dealing with inconsiderate people that all her friends like. It might be sharing memes that mock traits you possess. Or it could be directly soliciting validation from her network about your relationship issues. When you confront her, she might say, "It's just a post," or "You're being paranoid." But the effect is real. Suddenly, your private struggles have an audience. Her friends give her sympathetic looks. Your character is being assassinated in the digital town square, and you have no right to defend yourself. This external validation makes her position feel objectively true. You start questioning your own perception. If everyone thinks she's right, maybe I am the problem. This isolation is deliberate. It makes you dependent on her version of reality. This sustained pressure creates the conditions for our fourth and most binding code, the addiction cycle. This isn't love, it's chemical warfare on your nervous system. The pattern is predictable: tension building, an emotional explosion, passionate reconciliation, and temporary calm. During the conflict, your body floods with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. You're in fight or flight. Then comes the makeup phase, the apologies, the intense affection, the "I can't live without you" declarations. This releases dopamine, the reward chemical. Your brain, desperate for relief from the stress, latches onto this reward. You start associating this intense roller coaster with passion. The pain makes the pleasure feel more profound. You're being trauma bonded, literally addicted to the person hurting you. Each cycle deepens the addiction. Leaving starts to feel not just emotionally painful, but physically unthinkable, like quitting a drug cold turkey. The highs feel higher because the lows are so devastatingly low. When you begin to resist these patterns, the final code may emerge: system leverage. This is the nuclear option. It involves leveraging societal systems and biases as weapons. The statement, "no one will believe you," isn't just a taunt. For many men, it's a statistical reality. She might threaten to call authorities and claim fear during arguments. She might remind you of how domestic disputes are typically handled. In many places, policies automatically treat the man as the aggressor regardless of context. This knowledge becomes power. You're no longer just navigating a disagreement. You're navigating a legal minefield. Your home becomes a potential crime scene where you're the presumptive guilty party. This creates paralyzing fear. You stop defending yourself, stop expressing frustration, stop setting boundaries. Not because you shouldn't, but because the potential cost is catastrophically high. Your self-preservation instinct gets weaponized against you. So what's the antidote? The code of responsibility. Your ultimate power isn't in controlling her behavior. It's in mastering your response. Manipulation requires your participation, your anger, your guilt, your desperate need to make her understand. These are the hooks she uses. The moment you withdraw these reactions, the manipulation loses its power. This is where the gray rock method becomes essential. Become emotionally uninteresting. Don't engage in debates about your character. Don't try to prove you're loving enough. Don't react to provocations. Respond with calm neutrality. I hear you. That's an interesting perspective. I'll think about that. These are not admissions of guilt. They're refusals to play the game. When you stop feeding the drama with your emotional energy, the fire starves. She might escalate temporarily, testing your resolve, but eventually the pattern breaks because you're no longer participating in it. Your path forward requires building what I call the 4 pillars of sovereignty. First, narrative control. Keep a private record of interactions, not to use against her, but to preserve your own sanity. When gaslighting makes you question your memory, your notes provide objective grounding. Second, social anchoring. Maintain connections outside the relationship. Friends, family, hobbies. These keep you rooted in reality and provide perspective when the manipulation distorts your worldview. Third, financial independence. Money is autonomy. Ensure you maintain control over your resources. Dependence creates vulnerability. Fourth, and most importantly, value inscription. Your worth must be defined internally, not by her approval or criticism. Know what you stand for. Know your boundaries. Your self-esteem should be a fortress, not a weather vane turning with her every mood. Recognize that healthy relationships have conflicts, but not patterns. They have disagreements, but not character assassination. They have moments of frustration, but not cycles of addiction. The difference between a bad patch and manipulation is consistency. These codes represent consistent patterns designed to control, not connect. Your awakening begins when you stop asking, "How can I make her happy?" and start asking, "What is actually happening here?" When you stop trying to win her unwinnable games and start observing the rules themselves, the matrix becomes visible not in grand gestures but in these repeated, subtle codes. And visibility is the beginning of freedom. You cannot be controlled by rules you consciously recognize and refuse to follow. Your mind, once decrypted, cannot be easily encoded again. This knowledge isn't about blaming, it's about reclaiming. Reclaiming your perception, your peace, and your power to choose what you participate in. The most profound strength isn't in never being targeted, but in recognizing the game and calmly, firmly choosing to play a different one altogether.